Hello and welcome back. Today I am sharing 10 simple daily homemaking routines that keep our home running somewhat smoothly, even on very, very chaotic days. And I've been thinking a lot about how I figured this out, how to run a home. In the beginning, I was completely unprepared. I had no idea what I was doing, and honestly, I wish someone had taught me or I had learned some of these basic homemaking routines much, much earlier in life. Don't get me wrong though, I'm grateful to have grown up in a normal home with parents that really did try to prepare me. I was taught how to clean, cook, wash clothes, and even some of the maybe more unessential homemaking skills like wrap presents or decorate. So while I did hate having to pick up those pine cones every Friday afternoon, I do feel on the luckier side now. However, I was still completely overwhelmed and unprepared when I became a mother, and going back to work just 3 months after only made it worse. While I knew the basic practicalities of it all, I felt totally unqualified for being both a mother and taking care of my home when it all landed on my lap. For the last 13 years, my focus had been on getting good grades, performing well at a job, and, probably mostly just having fun. This distraction is really rampant in our society, and it's likely by design, but that's for another video. When I became a mother, I turned to books, which was the only thing I knew. Thankfully, podcasts are a lot more common now, which I think helps. All the books mostly talked about schedules, which made sense because I had run on a schedule for most of my life. Then I realized my baby didn't really like schedules, and I felt like a failure because I couldn't get them on a schedule. I couldn't do the things that I needed to during that scheduled day. I had no clue how to care for a young child and my home, much less all the other things we're also supposed to do today, like work out, maintain all these friendships, and work, which is a huge thing. You see so many moms saying they are not cut out to be a stay-at-home mom with their own children. And I felt that way too. I gotta be honest with you, I did. Before I learned what I needed to. And now I almost feel and want to give away this big, beautiful house I've worked my butt off for just to be able to do it. Now, what changed me, the number one reason was 100% a collision with Jesus. That drastically changed my perspective. He puts priorities in line really, really quick, I've found. The second was I realized how bad our food was at the grocery store. Even though I thought I was feeding my family good things because I was cooking, I really wasn't. A lot of it was not good for us. So I started learning the skills and habits to make our own food, which grew into other areas. And of course, I just want to say we're all wired a little bit different and thrive in different environments and ways. I've always tried to be a type A, but I'm really more of a type B. So take whatever habits resonate with you and leave the ones that don't. It's not universal. It's just what I found that works for me. And it's the nuggets of wisdom that I wish an older mom would have told me when I was struggling. I'll talk a little bit more about concrete things next, but the underlying theme is to try to let go of perfection and hard schedules. Instead, find rhythms you can keep that are realistic for your life. And of course, get your own priorities straight because we cannot do it all. My number one tip and habit is to learn to stay home. If you want to be a good homemaker, you need to be at home. We are so used to staying busy, to stay happy, that we've missed the beauty in a slow, simple life. If you feel a little bored at home or restless or don't really know what to do there, I would say be intentional and start pursuing some practical hobbies at home you think you might enjoy. Cooking, maybe get a little bit more into that. Sewing, gardening, a little bit more decorating or decluttering, maybe some landscape work if you want to be outside, or maybe even some small renovations that could help keep your home running a little bit smoother and keep you at home for other things that potentially will help out. Personally, I really like cooking, and we need to eat 3 meals a day, so it's a must. Gardening is also great too, as it's more of an activity that the whole family can help with. My second habit is to learn to cook mostly from scratch and always sort of have some food going to achieve this. Food is truly the center of our home, and making nourishing, healthy food for the people I love just seems so vital as a homemaker. Our food system is really broken here, at least in the US, so learning this will change your family's health too. Practically, to achieve this, I found that throughout the day, I need to always have something cooking or I'm prepping something to eat. Not every second in the kitchen, but just consistently making something. And of course, you need to implement number one about staying home to get there. Like consistently or routinely kind of just having bread or yogurt or broth going. Find what works for you. Thawing meat for the next few days. Thinking about future meals. And after lunch, I like to always take some step towards prepping dinner, chopping vegetables, getting a sauce going. Kids are so much more needy in the afternoon, so you'll always thank yourself for any prep you're able to do earlier in the day. And after putting them down, I might scoop out those cookies I mixed earlier right after dinner but didn't have time to finish. It's hard to cook from scratch. It does take extra time, but if you spread it out, it really helps. And I can't do these big meal prep days where I spend hours in the kitchen all on a Sunday or Saturday. So if I need to catch up on a lot of food like this, I'll do it over naps in the weekend, or kind of plan a weekend around it. We'll have a slow weekend, and for about an hour here or there during the weekend, I'll focus on cooking, like making a batch of yogurt, baking some snacks. I have a recent video of kind of what a weekend like that looks like that I'll card above. I have plenty of time still to spend with my family and focus on them, but we're not doing anything else, which allows me to spend a few extra hours in the kitchen. And if this is all very new to you, I think bread is a great place to start. It's a really easy one, especially if you start with yeast, and it's easy to kind of consistently have going. It requires very little hands-on time and is therefore a little easier to achieve when you're first starting out. My third habit, which I really learned the hard way, is you don't need to constantly play with your children to be a good parent. I really think kids are not supposed to be our sole focus in life. Yes, they are very important and we should be very attentive to them and their needs and play with them, but they don't need our focus all the time. Now, I don't have a bunch of kids, but I've noticed a drastic difference in my two boys since I realized this. With the first, I felt bad if I was not actively playing with him when I had time to. I was always down on the floor with him, playing and interacting, and while I loved it and it created such a good bond, I did not get the other tasks done that I needed to. I had to do them after bedtime or didn't do them at all, and I just felt drained and overwhelmed by it all constantly. With my second son, as he got older, I did more of my own tasks next to him while he was there. I think your presence is so important to them, especially as a mother in the early parts of their life. But my second plays so well by himself because of me doing this. And of course, I know it also helps that he has an older brother to play with, and a little personality plays into it as well. I always try to encourage this by if they want me to do something and I'm busy trying to finish something, I'll ask how they can do it. I'll make leading comments about how they can fix it or what they should do next. Really throwing the ball back to them on this, when they try to engage, you throw it back to them, calmly and, peacefully, and not pushing it back on them, I think usually means that they go about doing what they were already doing 50 to 60% of the time. Also, there are set times that I leave to just play with them. After breakfast, we'll usually play before I start work, and usually after cleaning up after dinner and before bedtime, we'll play usually 30 to 45 minutes each night. And during that time, I only focus on them. I try to not look at my phone, do any other task. I love this time with them, and I wish I could do more of it. I truly do, because I love it, but it's also important that I and they learn from me to keep at home, take care of it, and feed us well. That leads me to the next point of knowing where you add value and what can maybe be done by others. I use grocery pickup every week. It's one of our modern conveniences that saves us so much time without losing much value. It doesn't cost anything usually, and it saves over an hour in the grocery store each week, especially with travel. Even better is my husband. I'm lucky he can go pick it up for me too. I think finding a grocery store that consistently has good produce also helps make this a little bit more successful and repeatable. Also, my husband does the dishes too. I don't think I'm going to add that much value to the dishes. He can help out with that. He uses a robot to vacuum our house weekly. He actually loves it. He does a lot of the laundry. Now, not all. I think men, or not all men, seem to care about stains. So I've learned to have a separate pile of stained kids' clothes that he knows that I just need to work on before starting the laundry. Then he knows also what should not go in the dryer, because stained clothes that run in the dryer are always going to stay stained. And then he also just puts everything away too, mostly. I help out with this too, of course, but he also helps me a lot here. Cleaning would be another thing. It costs money, of course, so it depends on your budget, but if you can find someone who uses like non-toxic cleaner or aligns with what you want and you're struggling to keep up, I would outsource this. It is much harder and more expensive to get a chef in your house, for instance. Like, that's going to be impossible, but a cleaner is a little bit more in the ballpark. Homemaking is not just about keeping a home. I think that's a large part, but another big part is about the feeling of the home. You can do that through a little bit of decorating. I like to have forever items. I don't get a whole new set of stuff every year, but decorating or just having some flowers in the house always gives a little spark. I also try my best to do something small but special each week. Maybe just a little family trip to the park or the nursery or soon the strawberry patch, which I'm excited for. Ideally, it's something we can do and then take back to serve our home. Sometimes, this is just prioritizing some plans with family, or when weeks get busy, just a really nice dessert on Saturday night. Something just to make that week special for us all. Doing this is important, but it's not more important than being a loving parent. So if I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed one week, I always usually take this one and dial it back, because my patience and presence means more than anything, and it's what my kids will really remember from their childhood. My sixth habit is also pretty normal, but to me so critical to running a home smooth if you're just learning, and it's meal planning. Honestly, I'm slightly forgetful and not yet great at cooking on the fly, so this just really works for me. It doesn't have to take hours though. I found I don't like meal planning on Sundays. I try to do this like on a Thursday night instead. I usually plan for about 9 days in case I don't get to next week's plan in time. That way we always have something on hand for dinner, and it gives me some wiggle room in case I fall behind. And then the ones I love, I keep in a list. So if I'm not really feeling inspired or don't know what to make or don't have time to search for new stuff I want to make, I just take from that list. Or if we have busy nights, I know which recipes I can pull in for those busy nights. Just having that list on my phone. And of course, if you also have a notebook, that works great, but I'm just not great at keeping up with notebooks like with the recipes. Notes on my phone work so much better. Related to this is to double every meal you can. It's the simplest hack that seems so obvious, but I just didn't always do it or was not in the habit. If you don't have a massive family, this allows you to stock up on freezer meals or staples like bread for busy days when you can't be at home. And dinner for lunch is seriously life-changing and will give you so much time back. My time in the kitchen now almost feels a little wasted if I didn't double whatever it is I'm making. And I don't always double every single part of dinner. It depends on kind of like how we're going to eat the leftovers. If I'm making a creamy chicken pasta, I'll just double the chicken and sauce, as pasta and a green is easy to throw together the night of. And with a big meal like this, we usually have a little bit left over for lunch too, so I get like 3 meals out of it. For bread, I like to slice it and freeze it, so you can just easily take that out and take what you need, toast it, and it tastes almost like it came out of the oven. It's actually really good frozen bread. Some things just freeze better than others, and you'll learn what to eat the next day and what can be frozen over time. 8th point is to find a cleaning rhythm. This took me a while, but I am so thankful that I have it now, that I persevered, I guess, and found it. I needed to find one that I could keep up with without feeling constantly behind. And for me, that's cleaning my home in small bits at a time. I know what generally needs to be done almost every 2 weeks, and I'll tackle it here and there. If the kids are, happy after dinner, I'll clean the stovetop, wipe down the cabinets, or clean the fridge out when it's looking empty. When the kids are getting a bath, I'll usually take that time sometimes to clean the bathroom if I can while chatting with them. Sometimes I need more time, so maybe I'll do it half one night and half the next during bath. And if we get like an hour in the playroom together one night, after playing with the kids for a while, I'll tidy up or dust that room or maybe a nearby room and get them involved. Throw all the couch pillows on the floor. They love that for some reason. And it's always surprising how dirty it is in a couch. Now, the only thing I can't really do like this is mop. My husband will run the vacuum after dinner, and when the boys are in bed, I'll put on my favorite podcast and tackle that once every few weeks. Mopping is almost worth this extra effort in those precious quiet times because it makes the house feel so clean afterwards. And for less common things, I'll just try to get to them twice a year, like dust the baseboards or doors, get under the couches, like deep cleaning certain areas. I'll try to do it once in the spring or fall or winter. Now, is my house clean all the time? Is it super clean? No, it is not. And I just don't think that's the season I'm in. And I've just generally learned to accept that. It's not worth the money. And we just keep it at a nice, manageable clean. I always wipe down the counters after dinner, clean the dishes, and the kids tidy their toys, which keeps the house from ever becoming too unmanageable or a wreck. And this has really become a good habit now, meaning it's really easy to keep almost every single day. Our minds are so full now, I think more full than ever. Plans, contacting someone, buying that, planning this, scheduling that appointment. And a lot of this falls on the mothers. So a very small but powerful habit is to consistently make lists. It frees up my headspace so much, and I usually do this right before bed. I like to update it for the next day. I'll have a list for the next day and a future list of things I need to tackle, but just not tomorrow. The last small but very mighty tip I've been trying recently is if I notice something that takes under a minute, then I'm doing it right then. This helps me really not procrastinate the little jobs that can start to pile up and overwhelm me, because I do think I'm always prioritizing, but maybe sometimes a little bit too much, Few dishes in the sink, I'm doing it now. That thing that really needs to be ordered that I've been putting off, doing it now. Need to start that yogurt. Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and do it now, or that thing that should have been brought downstairs days ago. I'm gonna walk downstairs, take the 30 seconds to put it away. This one has really helped me manage the constant mess, just like the slight constant mess, a little better. Well, I hope you found 1 or 2 practical ways to help you manage your home a little better. Let me know in the comments if you have any good tips that really help you. I would love to hear them. Take care.